Today on Guess What I Found Out, we're going to discover some facts about why your dog sleeps on you, or pressed against you, or on your feet, or draped across your legs like a living weighted blanket that occasionally kicks. You've probably told yourself it's because they love you. You're not wrong. But the actual explanation is significantly more complicated, more ancient, and more neurologically interesting than you were probably expecting on a Tuesday night. Let's start with the thing people always assume: warmth. Dogs sleep on their owners for the warmth, right? Except no. Dogs have plenty of warm options. Sunny patches on the floor, couch cushions, that pile of laundry you've been meaning to deal with for 2 weeks. They have options. And yet they bypass all of them to climb onto a human bed, often 15 times their own size, and press themselves against a person. The warmth theory doesn't hold up. What does hold up is something much older. Sleep is an animal's most vulnerable state. Unconscious, defenseless. Evolutionarily, this is the window when predators strike. Every animal on Earth is wired deep in its nervous system to find the safest possible place to sleep. Hidden corners, covered dens, protected positions. And yet your dog, wired by millions of years of predator-prey evolution, ignores the safer corner of the room to sleep against you, exposed on an elevated platform. That is not comfort-seeking. That is a trust display. You are, to your dog, the safest thing in their world. They are showing you that at the most instinctually vulnerable moment of their day. If that hit a little differently than you expected, feel free to follow Guess What I Found Out, because we have a lot more where that came from. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary took this further. They adapted a test originally designed for human infants, the strange situation procedure developed by psychologist Mary Ainsworth, and ran it on dogs. The test involves separation from the primary caregiver and then reunion, measuring the subject's responses throughout. Human infants use it to measure attachment bonds with their mothers. Dogs showed identical behavioral patterns: proximity seeking, distress during separation, and relief upon reunion. And the numbers are striking. 61% of dogs showed what researchers classified as secure attachment, nearly identical to the roughly 60% rate seen in human toddlers. Your dog doesn't just like you. Your dog has bonded to you with the same neurological architecture that a baby uses to bond with its mother. Drop a comment and tell us, does your dog sleep on you next to you, or do they have their own spot? We genuinely want to know. Curious George, report in. Now, let's add a bit of chemistry to the mix. Back in 2015, researchers at Azabu University published a study in the journal Science, where they measured oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, the very same one that surges in new mothers holding their newborns, in 30 dog-owner pairs during interactions. When a dog and its owner made sustained eye contact, both experienced simultaneous oxytocin surges. The dog's levels rose, which prompted even more gazing. The owner's levels went up in response, reinforcing that bond. It's a self-amplifying feedback loop, co-evolved over thousands of years of domestication. And here's the part that, honestly, should get your attention. This loop doesn't exist in human-raised wolves. It's specific to dogs. It's the result of selective coevolution between our two species. Just 10 minutes of petting lowers cortisol, that's the stress hormone, in both the human and the dog. And over 8 hours of co-sleeping, that chemistry, well, it compounds. You are, neurochemically speaking, regulating each other. This actually goes back further than you probably realize. Dogs were domesticated roughly 15,000 years ago. That's before agriculture, before writing, before cities. The friendliest wolves, the ones who approached human camps without running away, survived. Their traits were passed on. And over generations, they became dogs animals genetically wired to seek out human proximity. So, picture this. A burial site in Germany, dated to about 14,000 years ago, holds 2 humans and, interestingly, 2 dogs. Now, one of those dogs showed bone evidence of having been nursed through what would have been a fatal illness, canine distemper. For at least 5 weeks, someone cared for that dog. Not as a tool, as a family member. Co-sleeping almost certainly began in those very same camps, bodies pressed together for shared warmth and, well, shared safety. It's in their genes now. Domestic dogs carry unique insertions on chromosome 6 that are linked to, extreme friendliness and a real tendency to seek proximity to humans. Wolves, they just don't have them. So your dogs need to be near you at bedtime. That's not a personality quirk or some sort of training failure. It's actually a genetic directive, written by 15,000 years of shared history. Hit that like button if you just looked at your dog completely differently. That's the Guess What I Found Out experience, and we're honestly glad you're here for it. Now, about your sleep. A Mayo Clinic study tracked 40 adults and their dogs over 7 nights using, proper clinical sleep monitors. The results were genuinely contradictory. Objectively, dogs disrupted sleep movement, repositioning, and yes, the occasional kick to the kidney at 3 a.m. Measurable sleep metrics got worse. And yet, participants reported feeling more rested, more secure, and, more comfortable with the dog present than without. A separate survey of nearly 1,000 women rated dogs less disruptive and, honestly, more comforting than human bed partners. The reason, really, comes down to the difference between objective sleep quality and felt restoration. Humans did not evolve to sleep alone. Solo sleeping in a quiet, dark room is, a modern invention. For most of human history, we slept in groups, in proximity to other bodies, regulated by the rhythms of shared breathing and movement. Dogs restore something ancestral in that dynamic. The micro-awakenings they cause go unnoticed. But the sense of safety they provide, that certainly registers. And in 2024, a University of Jyväskylä study monitored 30 dog owner pairs across 6 conditions and found something, rather remarkable. Bonded pairs showed synchronized heart rate variability. That's a measure of autonomic nervous system health, by the way. When the owner was calm, the dog's nervous system calmed. When the dog settled, the owners did too. Cross-species nervous system co-regulation happening in real time and strongest during shared rest. Unfamiliar human-dog pairs showed none of it. This is specific to bond, to relationship, to the thing your dog is doing when they press against you at night. One final thing. If your dog suddenly stops sleeping near you, pay attention. Dogs are creatures of, rigid routine. A sudden change in sleep behavior can signal a new stressor in the environment, a new person, a new pet, a disrupted schedule. It can signal early physical pain before limping or stiffness become obvious. In dogs over 8 years old, it is a recognized early sign of canine cognitive dysfunction, essentially dog dementia, affecting roughly 35% of senior dogs. Your dog cannot tell you something is wrong. Sleep behavior is one of the few ways they can show you. Watch for it. So, your dog sleeps on you because you are their safe haven, their attachment figure, their neurochemical co-regulator, and the product of 15,000 years of deliberate genetic partnership. They are not being clingy. They are being exactly what they were shaped to be. On the next episode of Guess What I Found Out, we'll be heading somewhere completely different, because that is very much what we do. Subscribe so you don't miss it. We'll see you there, Curious George.